Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the life cycle of the stars. The stars, after some time, changes into many shapes. First, the star starts as a cloud of dust and gas, which is called nebula. This nebula contains lots of gravity that pulls it together and turns into a protostar. This protostar gets bigger and bigger after time, and the gravity gets stronger. Uh, this gravity attracts more gas and more dust. And this gravity also squeezes the protostar together, which makes it more dense and makes particles collide more often. Which then the temperature starts rising because of the colliding of the particles. Then the nuclear fusion happens, which gives the protostar a huge amount of energy. Then this protostar turns into a main sequence star. The main sequence star give outward pressure, which is nuclear fusion, and gets inward pressure, which is gravity. And this main sequence stars stay for a long time, a very long time. For example, our sun is the main sequence star. After some time, the star starts to run out of hydrogen, which makes it get a lot smaller because the nuclear fusion stops. Then, when the main sequence star gets smaller, the nuclear fusion can start up again because the temperature gets more higher again, and it could expand again. And when it expands, it forms heavier elements. But what comes next after a main sequence star? After a main sequence stars, there are two things that can happen. If the star was small or medium, it turns into a red giant. If it was big, it turns into a red supergiant. And now we will talk about what will happen next after each giant. First, the red giant. The red giant, after some time, becomes unstable, and it expels its outer layers and turns into a hot, dense, solid core, which is a white dwarf. After some time, this white dwarf uh, contain less energy, and it gets cooler and darker, and it turns into a black dwarf. When it turns into a black dwarf, it means that the white dwarf no longer has energy to emit light. Then we will talk about what happens after the main sequence star if it was big, which is turns into a red supergiant. The red supergiant contains more nuclear fusion, which makes several cycles of expansion and contraction. This red supergiant turns into a supernova, which forms elements heavier than iron, which is ejected across the universe. Then, after the supernova, the supernova can turn into two things. If the star was very big, it turns into a dense core, which is a neutron star. And if the star was massive, it turns into a black hole. These black holes, their gravity is able to pull any light that passes nearby. Now we will say the life cycle of the stars. First, it starts as dust and gas, and turns into a protostar because the gravity pulls the dust and gas together, which makes it more dense. Then nuclear fusion happens and it turns into a main sequence star because it has energy. Then it turns into a red giant if the star was small or medium, and it turns into a supergiant if the star was big. Super red giant if the star was big. The red giant turns into a white dwarf, then after some time turns into a black dwarf. While the super red giant turns into a supernova, and the supernova can turn into a neutron star or a black if the star was big, and it can turn to a black hole if the star was massive. Thank you guys for watching, and see you later.